So, Disney is primarily known to make animated films, but their live action movies don't sometimes get acclaim as well. Although they do usually fall into obscurity and no one fully knows what to do with them. It's just interesting. Case in point, a movie I saw in the cinemas and then never heard, basically never heard about again. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Yes, that is such a damn long title. So, to understand this movie, I'm deciding to talk about the book first. Yes, this video is mainly going to be about the movie, but I want to touch on the book. You might ask, why am I touching on the book here? Well, I didn't in the Rise of the Guardians video. Well, wasn't that important as the Rise of the Guardians video, Rise of the Guardians book that it's based on, it came out while the movie was in production, which I talked about. So they were kind of both dual productions. Anyway, this book, I didn't read it. I didn't think was a point, but it's much older than the movie. It was published in 1972. Written by Judith Viust. I hope I'm saying that name right. It was a short 32-page book about a boy having a bad day. That was it. That was legitimately it. So, there were multiple adaptations to this book, actually. One of them was a TV special made in 1990. It's shit. It's terrible. Apparently it was very close to the book, which makes me not want to read the book. So, in this book, it's just about a kid who gets shat on by everyone. And it's just like a horrible, it just feels like a horrible world. Like, the world is mean to Alexander. I mean, if this was to teach kids that everyone has bad days, but like, there's no contrast to like, it's okay. I don't feel like there's anything good in this kid's life. And even then, sometimes it's his fault, like not doing his work, being lazy, like not getting out of bed. It's just so mean-spirited. The songs are okay, actually. I like the first song. They're the best part of this special. I'm not even joking. The songs are pretty good. But I don't like this special. Also, the animation, I don't like it. Maybe it was good for 1990, but it looks terrible today. Yeah, I did watch this, obviously, but I kind of regret it because I don't know why. It's just terrible. It's also horrible, no good, and very bad. On the Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day wiki, yes, there's an Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day wiki. I don't know either, but it says while it is mostly close to the book, there are a few differences. Most of them are just differences in the character's appearance, but the most notable one is the Mickey Mouse nightlight is removed. The lamp just sits on the dresser. This is obviously because of trademark issues with Disney, which is kind of ironic because of what Disney does later. I wonder when I get to a movie, it will put the Mickey Mouse light back in because it's a Disney movie. I don't know how they even put that in the book, but it seems kind of strange to me. But anyway, this is ink. But anyway, apparently it includes 3 good things that happened to Alexander, but I didn't catch them because I kept skipping around because this was so terrible, horrible, no good, very bad. Because this was a terrible special. Yeah. I mean, what the hell? I hope the movie's better because this doesn't hold me hope. I saw it in cinema, never again, so my memory might be deceiving me that it's actually good. But who knows? Before we do move on to the movie though, it's worth noting on the book's Wikipedia page, it also says it was a musical adaptation. However, I couldn't find enough information on the adaptation to do a full segment on it. So we're just gonna get right into the movie and see why it's so forgotten. But if it's anything like the special, I'm pretty sure I know the reason why. First, let's talk about the production. Don't worry, I won't ramble on this long enough for the Rise of the Guardians video. So the movie was originally commissioned by 20th Century Fox. This is only notable because if it was actually made by Fox, then it would have eventually become a Disney movie anyway. So it doesn't really matter that Disney picked up the project mid-production. Well, not early into production. After Steve Carell had already been confirmed for the movie. So yeah, and after that, it wasn't like eventful. So again, they announced a lot of cast members, but it's not really much to talk about here. So I'm gonna get into reviewing the movie now, after I've watched it, obviously. Okay, I just watched the movie, I just finished the movie, and I'm going to say something which I wouldn't be expecting to say. This movie is fantastic. And my name is supposed to call it a masterpiece. Well, this is a gem. And obviously, I'm going to explain why. First of all, this movie starts out with something I really hate when movies do. That is, show a scene near the end of the movie, at the beginning of the movie, with narration, and then cuts back to like a day before or something. This is a really dumb move, and I had a really bad feeling after that, but obviously, as you could see by the opening, it did not stay that way. So first of all, this movie is absolutely nothing like the special, and I didn't think it was going to be. I remember this movie being about this boy Alexander. He's a really unlucky kid, and his family don't really care because their lives are fantastic. But so I know it wasn't going to be like the book where it was just a boy has a bad day, nobody cares, laugh, 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 laugh. What was the point of all that? But this movie is a romp about the family. But what I was scared about is, was it going to be mean-spirited? And no, it is anything but mean-spirited. For one, Steve Carell is great in this movie as the dad. He is hilarious. He makes the movie, he plays off the rest of the family so damn well. I also like the older brother, Anthony. He is an interesting character that goes through a character arc. At the beginning of the movie, he clearly hates his family. But then he goes through, like, character arc, and then I was kind of saying that his girlfriend was kind of a bit overboard, but I think it was needed to, like, make his arc better, because again, it feels like a really good arc for his character. Actually, that is an interesting thing here. This family, it's obvious as it goes through the movie and at the beginning that before this day, this was not a good family. While they got a lot of bad luck this day, this family are obviously consumed by by their lives being great. And a bad day, it did seem kind of what they needed, because it was obvious that the sister kind of ignores her family because she's such an actress. Anthony clearly hates his entire family because his girlfriend tells him to, and the dad is just an optimist who is incredibly annoying and the message of this movie is really, really good. It's basically don't be too optimistic, which is a really good thing to hear. And basically, everyone had bad days once in a while, which might have been supposed to be the message of the book and the TV special, but it doesn't need. But if that was supposed to be a message, it wasn't go along right, in my opinion. At least. I also like this movie on a relatable level. I have a very crazy family myself, and I kind of related to this, because again, this was not a happy family. They seem like it, they pretended to be, but it's very clear that it's not. Actually, I liked how that a lot of the things that happened, no, it's not Alexander's fault, that a lot of the things that happened started happening on the day before. The cough of the sister Emily was caused by her spending so much time in the car and going to bed late, and the fight with Alexander, which caused Anthony and his girlfriend to have a fight, happened there. And that was interesting. So this movie is pretty good. It's a gem. And I wasn't expecting to say that. But I know the question you're all asking right now. Is this movie, like, perfect? Or are they some terrible, horrible, no good, very bad aspects? Well, I don't want to go that far. But there are definitely aspects I am not fond of. For one, there is quite a bit of growth out here. There's a few scenes like the baby's got a lot of like crayon on him for a lot of the movie, and there's like a scene where they're talking about like dumping like a dog and like all that stuff, like it was a misprint, and I kind of get it, but it's still just annoying toilet humor. And, well, and some of the characters aren't too interesting. Like, I think the dad and the older brother have arcs, but everyone else isn't that great. Jennifer Garner is good as the mum, but she doesn't really do much, and neither does the sister. And Alexander himself is just a typical protagonist. There's nothing really special about him. But I don't think that's a big issue here, because it's focused on the story and the message. And so it doesn't bother me that the characters aren't the greatest. It's a kids' movie. You're supposed to latch on to the characters. I don't feel like it's that big an issue here. Yeah. So, oh, one more thing that I don't like. There is a very, very forced romantic subplot in this movie, which didn't need to be there whatsoever, and just felt so out of place and unnecessary. Why did you have to put this in here? Alexander's just trying to impress a girl, like, in the background of this movie, like 3 scenes. What? Why does this have to be a thing? They're not kidding with romantic subplots. They're just not, are they? So that's my review of the movie. Now let's get into if it was a success at the time. Well, we know it's not talked about much today, but let's talk about how it was at the time. We know Rise of the Guardians at least had a legacy for a couple of years. What about this movie? While the movie didn't do terrible at the box office, it didn't necessarily do great either. And the movie got very mixed reviews from critics. Certainly, some people loved it, some people hated it, some people thought it was just okay. While I love this movie, I can understand why someone wouldn't like it. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, and it is very kid-friendly. So, I totally get it. Maybe I just understand it on a relatable level. Relate to this movie a little too much, maybe. But, so, yeah, that is what. But, the story is not over yet. Something I didn't know when starting my review is that this movie is actually getting a sequel. Yes, it's getting a sequel called Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Road Trip. However, it does not sound like a sequel to me. It sounds like a weird remake. Sounds like a weird remake with none of the original cast returning, obviously. All the kids have grown up now, and why would Steve Carell and don't have time for this? It definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't seem to have the same family as they all have different names. So I'm wondering how it's a sequel and not just a different take on the story. But so I'm not sure I have high hopes. But when this comes out, I will do a quick review of it on my channel for the sole reason that I loved this movie a lot. So you will see that on my channel when it comes out eventually. There's not even a release date yet. So why was this movie forgotten? Well, maybe it was due to the marketing. But I remember it being marketed very well. I remember sitting down to watch this movie after a lot of trailers. So I'm not sure that's it. I think it might be because, well, it's not everyone's cup of tea and a lot of people wanted to forget about it. Even if people liked the movie, then no one thought it was a standout until maybe me, I guess. So, I guess I'm the outlier. I think this is a very underrated movie, though. More underrated than Rise, I would say, because I don't see anyone making videos about why this is an underrated masterpiece. I love this movie. Not every aspect of it, but it's very good. So yeah, that's my best guess. I do think this movie should be better remembered. And since, from my perspective, no one remembers or cares about this movie, I do not know why it's getting a sequel. I don't see why it wasn't that successful at the box office in the first place, so it wouldn't be that profitable now, so I really don't get it. It wasn't critically receptional either. I don't get it. Was he tried to make it? I don't really get it. It was just something they felt popular about. Anyway, so this has been this video about Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I hope you enjoyed it. And leave a like and subscribe if you did, but if you didn't, that's fine. Leave a dislike or a hate comment, because you'll give me interaction anyway for the algorithm. I think. I'm new here. So, new here. You can watch other videos by clicking on the screen right now. But, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.